All
I
right,
love
so
that.
now
I love that I could see you in two images. Like I could see you frontwards and then to the
me.
side. It's great.
Yes, there's two of me. So awesome. Oh, good. Shayla's coming on. She has been one of the people who has been asking me, how do I make my meatballs and sauce? She's up in Washington State, right? Am I right? Or Oregon?
You're right, Washington State.
Okay, see, I got it. So she is all the way there, nice and early, ready to watch. And normally I do my meatballs even earlier than this. I just wanted to give people who are on the West Coast a chance to see. But I get this going and it simmers all day. And I'm going to get into that when we do the sauce. So how this is going to work, guys, is I'm going to show you the meatball part first. And then we're going to do the sauce. It's going to be a separate Zoom. Okay, just because I want to give a chance to then set up. I have to set up my camera by my oven because it's a whole process. So
Okay.
right now, as I showed you guys, I use a meatball mix, a meat mix. It's a mix of beef, pork, and veal. Again, you could do whatever meat you want. I like the different flavors, the different textures, the different fat content. So that's how I make mine, if you want to do it like that. Normally, I make probably about 6 to 7 pounds because I feel like if I'm doing it, I'm going to do it once and I'm going to freeze it. And then I'll even make like little meatballs for like Italian wedding soup, things like that. But today I was only able to get my hands on 2 1.5 pounds. So I have 3 pounds here. So you do what you got to do. Okay. So put your meat in the bowl. And then I'm just going to start adding some of the ingredients. Again, I don't have measurements. So this is why you're here to watch. So I take my breadcrumbs, seasoned breadcrumbs. I love 4C seasoned breadcrumbs. And I just kind of sprinkle it and just do a sprinkle right on top. For those of you, I don't know, can you see it better here? There you go. All right. Just sprinkle across on top. Easy enough. I'm going to open up my can of tomato paste. We're not using the whole can right now. Some of it's going to be used here. Some of it's going to be used in my sauce. I know a lot of you are Pampered Chef, whether you're consultants or you're Pampered Chef fans and customers and hosts of mine. The can opener is life. If you do not have this can opener in your life, you need it because you don't want to get cut. You're not cutting yourself here. It's not going to rust. You're going to lay it right on top. We start to turn. And again, it's going to open. What is on here? I can't even open a can right now. Okay. This quarantine crazy. All right. Once you go all the way around, you're going to use your little grippy. And you're going to grab the can and lift. And what is the beautiful part about this, guys? I'm not going to get cut. I'm not getting cut here. I'm not getting cut here. All right. This is like the greatest thing ever because it's going to save you a trip to the ER. So why do I put tomato paste in my meatballs? Well, it's going to give it flavor and it's going to give it moisture. Again, we want to keep our meatballs as moist as possible. Maybe like 2 tablespoons, just a big scoop off the top, or half the can, whatever you're feeling. My meatballs taste a little bit different every time, but it's still got that good flavor and lots of love. So we're going to save this later for the sauce. All right, gotta have fresh grated cheese, guys. Gotta have fresh grated cheese. The crumbs are not cutting it. You need this as well. So exactly what I did with the crumbs, just zhuzhing it across and doing a layer, same thing, okay? Now, how did I grate my cheese? I know some of you have that fabulous blender, right? Some of you have the fabulous blender. My blender is back here. I'm just gonna show you really quick. I threw this in, I hit grate, and in literally 5 to 7 seconds, I had this. Game changer. It really is a game changer. So this is a machine, magic machine. I have my fresh cheese. Of course, you want to get some salt. Going across the meat, really. Some pepper. And yes, these are Pampered Chef fabulous salt and pepper shakers. They are absolutely gorgeous. I love the style. And on the bottom, you can adjust the thickness or the thinness of the grind, which is huge. All right. And now my seasonings, the Italian seasoning from Pampered Chef. Now, one tip that I will tell you is the capful is 1 tablespoon. I don't know if you knew that. So I actually will kind of give it 1 tablespoon of the Italian. And I do a little bit more of the 3-onion rub. I used to use regular dried onions. Now I know a lot of people use fresh onions in their meatballs. That's up to you. Okay, so Diana's raising her hand that she does. A lot of people do. I like the way the dried. It gets the moisture. I don't like the little crunchiness of the fresh. I don't know. I just prefer it, and the 3-onion rub is amazing. I go a little heavy on it. It's good. Now, you're probably saying, are you going to put garlic in here? Now, there is garlic in this, like a garlicky powder. I don't put fresh garlic in my meatballs. A lot of people are probably surprised to hear that. There's garlic in the 3-onion rub, and I put most of it in my sauce, so I try not to kill people. And the way that I cook my meatballs, I only cook the outside. I make it crispy, and then the rest of it cooks in the sauce. That's how I do it. Okay, I see a lot of you saying you do too. So for me, I don't overdo it. Now, if I had some fresh parsley, I used it the other day. I totally forgot to save some for this. I would put fresh parsley in here, but I kind of keep it with the dried. And then if you want to add a little bit of crushed red pepper, and I'm going to tell you who I got this tip from. Oh gosh, his name just flew out of my head. That good-looking cook. That good-looking guy, oh, what's his name? And his mother used to cook the meatballs in the basement. You know who I'm talking about? Anybody? Oh, what's his name?
Is he English? Is it the English guy?
Not the English guy, no. Oh my goodness.
Rocco DiSpirito?
Thank you, Tina. Thank you. Rocco DiSpirito. So I had worked with him when I was doing TV, and he had a show briefly. And his mom used to be in the basement with meatballs, making the meatballs by hand. Just cute little Italian woman. Yes, that's the one. Yes. And she used to put just a little bit of red pepper flakes. So I started doing that, just a little bit. I don't overkill it, especially because the kids are like, it's spicy. But if you want, just give it a little bit. You saw I didn't put a lot. And it's a lot of meat. I didn't put a lot in there. So now, what I'm going to do, and this is from my grandmother. I got milk. I forgot to put it on the list, guys. A little bit of milk. Again, you know, it looks like I'm measuring. I'm not. I just have it in a measuring cup. But I just put a little bit on top, just to kind of soak up some of the breadcrumbs. See, can you see what I'm doing here? You guys are watching my other camera? Just over the breadcrumbs, let it soak in a little bit. That was probably about a half a cup. I just kind of eyeball it and let it sit. And now you're gonna get your eggs. You know, again, I eyeball it. I'm gonna start with one, and I'll start, see, this was live, guys. I'm gonna start with one, and I'm gonna feel it and see if it needs another one. I don't like to overdo the eggs. So that is what I'm gonna do now. I half cracked it already. Hopefully I don't get shell in here now. Because I guarantee if I get shell or hair in it, my husband will get it. He's always the one that gets it. Right, babe? But something else that I now add to all of my meals, and this is a shameless plug, but it's a good one. Kale and fiber from Enrichables from Pampered Chef. Why not get more nutrients in your food? You are going to get 2 cups of kale and 8 grams of fiber in these meatballs. Nobody's gonna know the difference. It is not gonna change the flavor. So I have been doing this as well. My meatballs will be a little bit darker. They're not gonna be bright green. It will not change the flavor though, okay? So I'm also gonna do the Enrichables. So now, and you wanna really mix this in good, because you see how green that is, guys? You're looking at my other camera? Look how green that is. Now this is, somebody has her. Shelly, did you get yours? Because this was part of your prize that you won for Easter. No? It should be coming this week. The USPS has been horrible. So the people.
Caryn, sorry. Caryn, quick question. The whole pack of Enrichable?
I do the whole pack. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to, but I do the whole pack. Why not get that extra fiber in here?
Okay.
And it's just gonna, like I said, it's not gonna change the flavor or the taste, but you're gonna give them a punch of nutrients. So that's what I use. Shelly, be on the lookout. You should be getting those this week. The USPS has been horrible. Okay.
No, I didn't get it.
So guys, this is what I'm gonna use my hands now. Okay. And I even have, this is the love that goes into my food, just to share with you guys. I have a raw protein allergy. So when I touch raw eggs, raw turkey, raw chicken. My hands get all red. So I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna have to wash a lot. But I can't, I've tried it with gloves. The same love just doesn't come into it, honestly. So now you're just gonna squish it. Squish it between your hands. Get all up in it. I don't have a tool for this, guys. This is how I was taught. This is one thing I'm not gonna sell you. Use your hands, get in there and just squish it all in. You could see what's nice about the tomato paste. You could see, and you can mush it around and just get it going. And I'm just gonna mush it all in, and then I'm gonna be adding a little bit more seasoning, okay? And then I could see the texture. I could see if it needs another egg. So you're probably going, Caryn, I can't see. How do I know? Just feel it. Feel the texture. Is it, you know, is it falling apart? Does it need more breadcrumbs? Use your instinct, use your love, use your gut. Trust it. And the more you make this, the better it will get. This is how I learned. So I'm going to tell you guys how I learned the first time how I made meatballs. I lived in California for 2 years. I don't know if you guys know this. On my own, in my 20s, I was working in radio. And all I wanted was my mom's meatballs and sauce. And one thing I have to say is I used to watch her, but she never really taught me. And again, there was no recipe. So, and again, by the way, just keep your fingers like open. You don't want to be too mushing on it. Just give it some, you know, incorporate it. See how it's looking now? Oh, where'd my camera go? Oh, there it is. My mother was calling. It's like she knew I was making the meatballs. See? It's all incorporated. Once you see it's all incorporated, I'm going to wash my hands and I'm going to put a little bit more seasoning in. And the thing is, I'm a cook who tastes as I go, right? With this, you really can't taste it. It's raw meat. Although my dad, I will tell you, does eat the raw meat and taste it. I won't do it. That's one thing I won't do. The smell. I know the smell. And you're gonna smell, as long as you get that seasoning in there, I promise you it'll have plenty of flavor. But anyway, the story I started telling you guys was I was homesick. And you know, food makes you feel like you're at home. Tastes and smell. I stayed on the phone with my mom for 2 hours and she walked me through it. There was no Zoom, right? We're going back early 2000, 99, 2000. There was no Zoom, there was none of this. My mom stayed on the phone with me and walked me through the steps. And my phone bill was crazy high because there was no free long distance, right? But I perfected it. And with time, you see, oh, next time I'm going to add a little bit more of this, but just feel the texture. See if it's, I don't think I need another egg. It's coming together nicely. Like once I put it in my hands, I see it's not falling apart. Then I know it's good. But I'm going to wash my hands and put a little bit more seasoning, and then I'm going to mix it one more time, and then we're going to start making the balls. Does anybody have any questions? Unmute yourself, and I'll answer some questions. You're like good little students. My goodness. I love it.
Caryn, the grated cheese, what cheese did you use?
Pecorino Romano. Yeah. You could use Locatelli too, but
Okay.
fresh grated, guys, it's like life-changing. And it's amazing to me how like this little tiny brick, how much it's gonna make. So I was gonna grade it for you guys now, but I'm gonna be going live on Shelly's party. Shelly is a current virtual party host right now, and I'm gonna be going live on her party later today. So you know, resources are limited, guys, so I need to save some to grade for her party.
Caryn,
Yes.
I think I messed up because I thought it was Parmesan and I added grated Parmesan now.
That's
Is it
That's
gonna make a
fine.
difference?
Parmesan, that's fine. That's fine. Parmesan, it's just the different types of
Right.
grated cheeses.
What
It's
is the
gonna be
other
fine.
cheese? What is the other cheese you mentioned besides Parmesan?
Oh, Locatelli
Okay.
and Pecorino Romano. It's just the type of cheese, but it's all the same. Honey, I've made it with that too. It's all good. Parmesan, you know, it's just the type of Parmesan.
Okay.
We're very specific here, especially Staten Island. You go to the specialty stores, it's like very specific. But, you
So
know.
I don't have your blender yet, so I was using this.
Oh, perfect. So she's got the grater, even better. And you can use that, absolutely. You know, I just really feel like fresh grated. Just don't be using like no, you know, Kraft in the green bottle, please,
No.
guys. Okay. From my heart, just don't use that. All right, I see some stuff on the chat. Let me just open that while my hands are clean. How amounts of seasoning? Oh, okay. This is being recorded, Kathleen, and I don't have measurements. So you're gonna have to watch it back. It's just the way I sprinkle it across the meat. There is no measurements, that's why I'm doing this. And as for tomato paste, I did probably, if you're getting the can, I did probably a third of the can. About a third. And again, it depends how much meat. You don't want it to be overly tomatoey. So like if you had less meat than me, say you only had 1.5 pounds, I have 3 pounds, you don't want to use that much. It's more just to put that moisture in there and a little bit of tomato flavor, but you don't want it to be like a tomato ball. Okay, I hope that answers it. But yes, I am recording this so you guys can watch it back again and just get an idea. Again, I told you there's no measurements, so that's why I really wanted to do the visual for everybody. All right, so now I'm just gonna do a little bit more salt and pepper. Maybe a little bit more red pepper flakes for Rocco DeSpirito. Sorry, I forgot your name. His mom was really sweet. She was like this little tiny woman. I think I have enough. I could smell the onion rub. I could smell the Italian seasoning. The meat has flavor. It doesn't smell like meat. You know, like that raw meat smell? Once you smell flavor, then you know it's good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start just mixing up the salt and the pepper that I just added. And when I put my hands and I just squish it, and I fold it over and I squish it, you don't even see the enrichables anymore. Okay, so look at my meat, guys. Okay, can you see it? Look at the camera that has the meat up close, right? You can't see it, it's all mixed in. So now we're gonna start rolling the balls. So if you have Pampered Chef scoopers, we have the 3 tablespoon one. This is a nice size meatball, but I think a lot of people tend to go with the medium if you don't want them too big. I like a nice size meatball. This is the little small size, it's 1 tablespoon. I use this a lot of times. I'll make regular meatballs. I told you, I only like to do this. I usually do a lot more meat if I had my hands on more meat, because I will then make little mini ones for Italian wedding soup. And with those, I make the meatballs, I put them on parchment paper, on a cookie sheet, and I freeze them raw. And I save them then in a baggie after they freeze. So when I make the soup, that I do throw in raw. So I make the Italian wedding soup, and we can do that another time if you want. And I take the frozen meatballs that I made and I just throw them in the soup and they cook in there. So that's how I do it for the soup. But I don't have enough to make. My kids want meatballs. We eat a lot of meatballs. Any leftovers, you know, it's gonna be all good. So even though I love my gadgets, you know I do it by sight. I take these, yes. But if you guys have the scooper, use the scooper because you want them all the same. I take enough, and if it fits in the crook of my palm, I know that's the size that I like. That's how my mom taught me. So I just do it from my heart. You see that, Shelly? I see you looking. If it fits in the crook of my palm when I go like this, I pull off the right amount. And the funny thing is, my daughter, I've showed her 3 times, she does it. I will occasionally use, like I said, I need my little meatballs to all be the same size, but I'm gonna tell you when you see when I'm done, mine are all the same size. But it's from repetition. I've been making these since I'm 23 years old. I'm not gonna tell you how long that is, how long I've been making these. But now I'm just gonna make them and I'm gonna put them in. But if you want, let me show you. So here's the medium scoop, let me show you. And again, some people, they don't like to touch meat. That's why this is great, because then they just can go down, but you still gotta make it into a ball, right? But that's a nice size. And you know what? A medium scoop is actually about the size of how I do it. So if you have the medium scoop, I would say that's a better size. I think this is too jagunda. Some people like a big, big meatball, but I gotta make so many. The twins' birthday is on Wednesday. We were gonna eat this tonight. They were like, but mommy, we want that for our birthday dinner. I'm like, oh, we'll have it tonight. No, they want it. So now I'm gonna save this for Wednesday. So now I gotta figure this.
Is this the medium one?
I think you have the medium. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Sometimes there's a number on it.
I saw like a 4.0 or something in the inside of the scoop.
I think you have the medium. That might be the large though. You know what? Put water in it. 3 tablespoons is the large, 2 tablespoons is the small, medium. That's a good way. So that will make my meatballs. So here, the 2 is a little bit smaller. The medium scoop is a little bit smaller than I make them by eye, but it's smaller than the large would be. But that's just me. You know, if you want them all uniform, I do suggest getting the scoops though. So now I'm just gonna make this. So now I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna, because after I make these meatballs, we're gonna stop and I'm gonna set up by the stove, and it's gonna be a second Zoom, okay? Just to break it up, because I have to set up on my stove. But we are gonna fry these up, and now I'm gonna tell you guys all something right now. The air fryer makes the best meatballs. And I cannot believe I'm even saying this, because we did a taste test in my family. And what we did one day was I had like 8 pounds of meat. I was having the whole family over, so I'm just gonna make a ton of meat at once. Why not? If you do this one, you're just making a ton for everybody, right? So what I did was I did a third fried, like my mother taught me. I did a third in the air fryer, and I did a third in the quick cooker. Now with the quick cooker, you're doing the sauce and the meatballs at once, and they're not fried first, okay? So I was very weary about that, and my girlfriend was like, it's delicious, you gotta make it. I said, you know what? We're gonna do a taste test. So I had my whole family over. See, I miss my family dinners right now. This is making me sad. But thank you guys for being here with me on a Sunday while I do my Sunday dinner stuff. And we did a taste test. I had out plates, A, B, and C, and we all tasted. And who wants to guess what was their favorite? The air fryer. Everybody, my mother was like, what? What? This is the air fryer? Yes, the air fryer. And you know how much fat and oil and grease and time I saved. But why am I still continuing to fry some meatballs? Because I'm going to tell you right now, some of these are going in the pot to be fried, and all the rest are going in the air fryer. Because if I'm making sauce, I need the meat. It's all about the flavor, and that is part of why I do meatballs and sauce. And I make a lot, because when I make it once. The pot I'm using today is not as big as I normally use, because I don't have, I barely have the sauce that I was able to get. On Staten Island, it is sold out everywhere, everywhere. So I am lucky that I got what I got to do this. And, but normally I make a vat. I'm talking my big, big pot, and that's how I do it. But I always fry some meatballs first, and even some other meats. You know, out here we do a lot of things like sausages and braciole and stuff like that. It's all about the flavor. So if you're vegetarians, my sauce is not going to work for you. I'll tell you right now, because part of the beauty of it is that flavor from the meats. Did anyone have any more questions? I see a lot of you rolling. I love this. It's like we're cooking together. This makes my heart happy. No questions? Shelly? Look, it looks good. She's doing it in the crook of her hands. Oh, my grandma will be proud. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, it smells good. If the meat doesn't smell good, then you didn't add enough seasoning. Okay? You didn't add enough cheese. You didn't add enough salt and pepper. Don't be scared to season it, okay? Because you want to bring out the flavors in these meats. Was anybody able to get a mix of meat, or you guys are using like straight up beef? What's everybody using?
Just beef, because I don't eat pork.
Okay. You could always mix whatever you want. I mean, I've done it sometimes with ground turkey in it, you know, mixed with beef, because you want to have a little fat. You know, I've done turkey meatballs, and I would make my turkey meatballs the same, and they're still delicious. Don't get me wrong. They're still going to be delicious. It's all about the flavoring, you know, and when I'm trying to be skinny, I will do them turkey. But we're talking about like real deal meatballs here now. You guys wanted to see the real deal. So
I went to the meat market and got mixed. They gave me mixed.
You did. And they usually call it a meatloaf mix.
Okay.
Like that's like, if you're looking, I know out here, that's what they call it, a meatloaf mix. But sometimes you could buy the different meats separately. And sometimes I'll buy them separately and I'll do my own ratio of the meats, you know, depending. You know, every time my meatballs are a little bit different, but it's still full of flavor. Do you notice how like I just know from feeling it in my hands and I'm pulling off pieces and I know how to make it. It's just instinct, and that'll come with time. So I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm just gonna show you my setup really quick, and I'm gonna let you guys finish rolling. And then when I come back, there's gonna be a second Zoom link, okay? So it's not gonna be the same link. We're gonna end this Zoom, and the sauce making one is gonna be separate. So together, we're gonna fry up a couple of meatballs, and then, because that's part of how I make my sauce. It's crucial. You know, sauce on the pot, just regular sauce, is gonna be too tomatoey for me. You need that flavor in it. And we're gonna be using the garlic. We're gonna be using the rest of the tomato paste. I was able to get one of my neighbors, she's so sweet. I was able to get the tomato puree, and that you'll see how I do that. But you can add all different layers of cans of sauce to get it.
Where are you placing your meatballs? Does it matter if they stick together or no?
They shouldn't be sticking together if you did it correctly.
No. I have them in a sheet, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure.
Oh, wait,
I'm
I'm
just-
frying. I'm frying already. Should I not be frying?
Oh, you can. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. I'm not frying yet because I have to change my whole setup. You can absolutely fry. I'm going to also show you how they come out from the air fryer. You cannot, when I put the two together, you cannot tell the difference. The inside is pillowy, soft. And you know which one we didn't like? And that's just a preference thing because I don't like to cook my meatballs in a sauce. We did not like the one from the quick cooker. Doesn't mean it wasn't good, because one of my friends swears by it, but she grew up eating meatballs cooked in a sauce raw. For me, I need a crispy outside. But if you like it that way, by all means, the quick cooker, it is easy because you throw everything in it, and in like no time you're making it. It's absolutely amazing. All right, I have one more piece, and then I'm gonna just wash my hands, and I'm gonna show you really quick my setup, and then we'll take a quick break. This one's gonna be the little one. See, there's always one at the end that doesn't have enough meat and it's smaller than the rest. And you know what this one is? This is the one that I eat. This is the one I taste. This is my reward. So I always get that one. All right, let me wash my hands. I'm gonna read the chat too. I know there was some questions on the chat. And I know this wasn't on the list, but if you guys have red wine, feel free to pop a bottle. We could drink together, but we could also put some in the sauce too. I didn't put that on there, but it's my last bottle of red wine. So really quick, see, normally my pot is a big one, but I'm only using a small one because I only had a few cans of the tomatoes. And then all I have is a thin layer of olive oil on the bottom, just lining the bottom. And then I'm gonna heat it up real good, and then I'm gonna throw it in. And that's what we're gonna do. All right, so I'm gonna stop this now, okay? And then I'm gonna post the second Zoom, and it's strictly just for the sauce. So I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes to get ready. I have to set up my camera over by my stove, and then we'll do this again. You guys are coming back?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, guys. So we will be back shortly. I feel like, all right, I didn't forget nothing. All right, good. All right, guys, keep rolling, and I'll be back, and then we'll fry up those balls, and we will get the sauce in. Let me check
Quick
the chat.
question. Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Are we putting all of the meatballs we make into the sauce?
You can. It's
Or
gonna
how
give
many
us-
should we have?
How much meat did you start with?
Yeah, that's a great question, Karen. You know that I was eyeballing this, right?
Yes, you cook like I do.
Yes. I have apparently 3.87 pounds.
Okay, so close to about the same as me. I just do layers. I fry them. I put them in a bowl. And you want to keep them all in a nice bowl, because then that juice that is going to accumulate on the bottom, that's going right back in your sauce, guys.
Oh.
Okay? So
Karen, how much cheese did you use again?
just sprinkled across the top.
Okay.
There's no measurements. It's all eyeballing it. It's really, I sprinkle, I go across the whole top.
Okay.
What time for the second Zoom? Are you posting this recording before you? No, I'm not posting this recording before the sauce Zoom, because I have to, I have to upload it, and that's a whole rigmarole. Oh, great question though. Non-stick or stainless steel? Kathleen, great question. I love, you guys know, I truly love Pampered Chef's non-stick pans, but for my sauce and meatballs, I use stainless because I like the way the meatballs will kind of adhere to the bottom and it leaves little bits because that's all part of how I make my sauce. This is the key. So I don't like a nonstick because nothing sticks to the bottom. And this time I want a little bit to stick to the bottom. So I prefer stainless. I have all my big pots are stainless. So I use stainless for this. I've tried it now. I've tried it in the rock crock. It does come out nicely in the rock crock. The reason I don't use it a lot is because it's not big enough for me. I like my big, I'm telling you, when I normally do it, I make a vat. I have a pot this big. So that is my reason for that, but yes. And then as to answer your question about how long do you cook them in the air fryer? I believe I wanna say 14 minutes. So 14 minutes, halfway through, I switch the trays. And it's okay if they're not cooked through because they are gonna go back in my sauce, okay? So, all right, guys, get yourselves together. Let me set this up. I'm gonna end this now, and then we will move on to part 2, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And